Welcome to Cypher 2024. Today we have Debarag Banerjee, who is Chief AI and Data Officer at L&T Finance. So, hi Debarag, how are you doing?
Hello, how are you, Sagar?
I'm doing great. So, when I attended your session, and then some people were asking you questions. So, there you mentioned that EU is taking wrong way in terms of adapting to AI technology, and in India is blindly following their path as well. What do you think about it?
I think if you look at how AI would make its impact on the world, it would not be any different from how computers impacted the world, internet impacted the world. These were quantum changes, right? And one of the other aspects of the quantum change is areas that resisted the change ended up losing, while areas that adopted it ended up winning,
Yep.
right? Silicon Valley, Bangalore,
Correct.
adopted fast, won. So I think depending on how people would adopt AI will make winners and losers in the world.
Correct.
EU chose its path, or is apparently choosing its path, with a lot of regulations, with a lot of technophobia, and it is kind of setting itself up for falling behind in the AI race. If it truly does so and follows through with all these extremely extreme, restrictive regulations at a time when AI itself has not matured enough for us to know where it would be beneficial and where it would be not. Clearly, you is choosing not the path of a winner. I haven't quite seen the same level of technophobia about AI in India, so I am cautiously optimistic. I do believe that different regulatory entities in India are actively thinking about it, but I kind of hold judgment until they themselves deliberate and come up with how they would want to go. But I don't have any reason to believe that they are kind of blindly following you. And if I were to hope for anything, I would hope that they don't.
You mentioned recently about rural Indian OS operating system. So what was it? Because you used this word, and I didn't get it. Is it any operating
Uh,
system based on
no, it's
something?
it's not something we are building or anything like that.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that if we look at data penetration in India,
Hmm?
if I look back to my days at Geo,
Yeah.
right? Before Geo launched, India, a country
Yeah.
of a billion plus people,
Yeah.
stood 150th in terms of aggregate use of mobile data, not per capita, aggregate use of mobile data.
Wow.
There are only about 168 countries in the world for
Yeah.
reference. So that was a pretty bad score, right?
Yeah.
After Geo launched, I believe the score went up to 1, above
Nice.
China, above US,
Yeah.
above any other single country in the world. That was the door that opened this transformation that you see today in India, where so much e-commerce, gig economy, electronic everything, mobile everything is happening, right? Now that said, this perception that all of India went mobile is by and large an urban perception. Uh, our biggest business is microfinance
Yeah.
in rural India, and I've been to the field. We lend to rural women, and it would make both their lives easier as well as our lives easier if they could, for example, transact online, make their payments online, and so on and so forth. Now, why is it not happening? When you actually go and sit down and talk to them, you realize that only part of it has to do with mobile penetration, even mobile data usage. Because while people have sort of figured out, how to watch a Bollywood flick on YouTube and those kind of things, they aren't quite able to use mobile
Yep.
applications that require a complicated set of interactions with it,
Correct. Correct.
quite the same way that urban Indians have become used to.
Correct.
And that is a gap. That is a kind of digital enablement gap rather than a pure data consumption gap.
Yep.
And how do you cross that gap? How do you make mobile applications more friendly for the rural population? May need a different way to think about.
So, how was your experience at the Cypher 2024? That's it.
So it's a pretty lively conference. I like the crowd, and I like the enthusiasm and let us say eagerness of the participants to learn about AI and use it in whatever form that they want to use in their work as software engineers and IT professionals and so on and so forth. I remember having seen some stats that until recently that one of the big setbacks, one of the big frictions for India to adopt AI is the availability of AI talent, not just people who can write a prompt on ChatGPT,
Exactly.
but actually people
Build.
who can build the next generation of transformers.
Yeah. So,
In spite of all these millions and millions of let us say regular RD workers, India lacks that talent.
correct.
And conferences like this hopefully gets people kind of like to the sources at least, so from where they can maybe self start their journey, and maybe that'll do something towards curing that gap. And let's hope that happens.